Welcome to the official channel of Sheikh Hamdan's fans, where we delve into the heart of royal life, not just through official appearances and public statements, but through the emotions, choices, and deeply personal revelations that shape the life of Dubai's beloved Crown Prince. Today, we bring you something both rare and profound, a poetic declaration from Sheikh Hamdan himself, one that unveils not only a life decision but also the values, struggles, and courage behind it. It began with a few words that echoed far beyond the screen on which they were shared. Words that didn't shout but lingered in the hearts of those who read them. A poem, shared in quiet confidence, but powerful in its simplicity. The words hung in the air like a promise, or perhaps a warning. I knew that once I'd spoken them aloud, there'd be no going back. "I'm marrying her," I said, and the room seemed to hold its breath. It wasn't the news of my wedding that stunned them. It was the identity of the woman I'd chosen. It was not just a poetic expression, it was a truth laid bare, a royal revelation that echoed through the chambers of society, both elite and ordinary. The Crown Prince, long admired for his wisdom, strength, and poetic soul, was making a deeply personal announcement. But what truly shook the ground wasn't the idea of his marriage, it was who he had chosen. She was not a woman the media had been speculating about. She wasn't among the glamorous elite, nor did she grace red carpets or headlines. There were no viral reels, no trending hashtags. She didn't sparkle in the spotlight, not because she lacked beauty or worth, but because she simply never sought it. She was real, grounded, and invisible in the world of vanity, and that, precisely, was what drew Sheikh Hamdan to her. The unexpected choice, what the world had expected, was a polished, public-ready romance. A grand engagement with a woman who matched the royal image in every external way. But what Sheikh Hamdan offered instead was a deeper truth, that real love isn't curated for cameras. It doesn't follow scripts written by publicists or conform to society's assumptions. He chose a woman who remained in the background, not because she lacked presence, but because she understood the beauty of silence. She wasn't in pursuit of validation, likes, or limelight. Her strength lay in quiet dignity, in the way she walked beside him when no one was watching. She understood the language of restraint and the power of stillness in a world constantly shouting for attention. She wasn't perfect for the cameras, but she was perfect for him. And while some were confused, others judgmental, and many completely surprised, Sheikh Hamdan stood calm amidst the storm. Because his heart knew something the world didn't yet understand. Love in the shadows. She had been his companion through seasons of silence and chaos, through periods of overwhelming responsibility and aching loneliness. In the corridors of royal duty where emotions are often muted, she brought color and clarity. While the world saw the powerful Crown Prince, she saw the man behind the titles, the weary eyes, the tired soul, the questions no one dared to ask. She loved him in the moments that mattered most, not in public ceremonies but in private struggles. When he came home late, too tired to speak, she didn't ask questions. She sat by his side, held his hand, and simply let him be. She didn't fill the air with conversation. She offered him peace, which he'd come to value more than any praise or applause. She didn't ask for proof of love, she lived in it. And in doing so, she gave him something rare, freedom. Freedom to be imperfect, to falter, to be human. The reaction when the poem was shared, the world read between the lines, and headlines erupted. Royal wedding announcement, they declared. But the essence was missed by many. This wasn't a spectacle, it was a confession. A decision made not for legacy but for love. Some smiled awkwardly, unsure how to react. Others whispered judgments behind closed doors. There were questions, assumptions, and even criticism. How could a crown prince choose someone so ordinary? But for Sheikh Hamdan, this wasn't about status, it was about soul. He wasn't looking for a queen to stand beside him in photos. He was seeking a partner to sit beside him in silence, to laugh with him when no one else could, and to walk with him not in grandeur, but in the moment he knew. In his poem, he speaks of the moment he realized she was the one, not a grand event or a dramatic epiphany. It was on a quiet, ordinary day, when the world felt heavy, and words felt like a burden. He barely spoke that evening. The palace felt more like a cage than a home. But she didn't try to fix him, she simply stayed. Her presence, quiet and unwavering, was a reminder of who he really was beyond the expectations of others. And it was in that quiet moment, as she rested her hand on his, asking nothing in return, that he knew. This is love. This is what he wanted for the rest of his life. Not perfection. Not glamour. Just peace. A love beyond appearances. There's something powerful about choosing someone who doesn't fit the public image. It requires strength, courage, and self-awareness. It means choosing love not for how it looks, but for how it feels. Sheikh Hamdan saw past the expectations. He looked into the heart of a woman who had no followers to impress, no magazine covers to chase. And he saw someone who listened with her soul, who spoke gently but with impact, and who never tried to be more than who she was. She loved him as the man he was, not the prince, not the poet, not the leader. Just him. Building a life, not just a legacy. This revelation marked more than an engagement. It was the beginning of a new chapter. No longer driven by the endless pursuit of perfection, Sheikh Hamdan began reshaping his life around what truly mattered. He started making decisions with her in mind. Every goal, every meeting, every plan was filtered through a deeper lens. What does this mean for us? Career milestones were no longer the pinnacle. Now, they were simply steps toward a shared future, one rooted in meaning rather than metrics. He envisioned a home with her, a space not adorned with royal splendor but filled with authenticity. A place where they could wake up not as public figures, but as people deeply in love. The true meaning of commitment in a world where relationships are often filtered through aesthetics, Sheikh Hamdan found beauty in simplicity. In morning coffee shared in silence. In the laughter that bloomed during long walks without bodyguards. In the look she gave him when he was too tired to talk, and she understood everything anyway. His commitment wasn't just to her, it was to them. To a bond built on real conversations, real effort, and a shared desire to protect what they had. Facing the world together with the news out, they stepped into the public eye as a couple. But they did so not with grand announcements, but with quiet confidence. He didn't try to justify his choice, because love doesn't require explanation. When criticism came, they weathered it together. When praise arrived, they accepted it with humility. And through it all, they remained rooted in each other. She was not intimidated by the spotlight because she didn't live for it. And he admired that most of all. A promise beyond words today. As they continue this journey, Sheikh Hamdan's words echo louder than ever, not in volume, but in meaning. I'm marrying her. A declaration, yes. But more than that, a promise. To honor, protect, and cherish the woman who saw him before the world did. Who believed in him not because of who he was to others, but because of who he was when the cameras turned away. And in that promise lies the heart of a royal revelation, not a tale of luxury and spectacle, but of honesty, love, and the strength to follow